I will now call to order the Monday, March 19th through 2012 meeting of the Sioux Falls City Council. We'll begin tonight's meeting with a roll call.
Councilors Aguilar?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Brown? Intamin?
Here.
Erpenbach?
Here.
Jameson?
Here.
Karski?
Here.
Rolfing?
Here.
Uther?
Thank you. We have 7 counselors in attendance. We are honored this evening to have Pastor Tim Selbo, Senior Pastor at Gloria Dei Lutheran Church, to lead us in our invocation. As a side note, Pastor Tim is my pastor at Gloria Dei. We ask that you rise and that you stay standing. We'll follow with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor?
Great to be here. Please join me in a word of prayer. Good and gracious God, we give you thanks tonight for the many blessings that you provide for your people, food and shelter, and friends and family, vocations, interests, and times of rest. We thank you for your presence in our world and your presence here this evening. Use us both as individuals and corporately as citizens of this great city to work together to make a difference in the lives of those in need in any way. And we ask that you bless your servants, the counselors, the mayor, and all who hold office in our city, our state, and our country, that they may do their work in a spirit of wisdom, kindness, and justice. Empower them to use their authority to serve faithfully and to work for the common good of all. Bless this meeting tonight and continue to hold each of us and your world in your arms of grace. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move on to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I need to recuse myself.
Thank you, Councilor Intamin. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Erpenbach.
Second, Anderson.
We have a motion by Councilor Erpenbach, second by Councilor Anderson. Any further motions? All those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. We'll now go on to the regular agenda. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Karski. Second, Anderson.
We have a motion by Councilor Karski, second by Councilor Anderson. Any further motions? All those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Intamin?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. We'll now move on to the public input part of our meeting. This is a time that is set aside for anyone wishing to address the council for 5 minutes on any topic that is not already shown on this agenda. We ask that you come forward to the podium and state your name. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll move to unfinished business. If there are no objections, items 11 through 24 will be read at once.
Item 11, new 2012 retail wine license for Fuji Sushi and Hibachi LLC, Fuji Sushi and Hibachi to be operated at 2801 West 41st Street. Item 12, transfer of the 2012 retail liquor license from Substation Incorporated, Nutty's, 3400 West 49th Street, to B&D Group Investments, LLC, Nutty's Pub and Casino, to be operated at 3400 West 49th Street, including Sunday sales and video lottery terminals, with the conditional use permit being approved on 02/01/12. Item 13, transfer of the 2011-12 retail malt beverage South Dakota Farm Winery license from Main and Main, LLC, Courtyard by Marriott, 4300 West Empire Place, to Main and Main LLC Spring Hill Suites to be operated at 4304 South Empire Place with the conditional use permit being approved in 2008. Item 14, transfer of the 2012 retail wine license from Main and Main LLC Courtyard by Marriott, 4300 West Empire Place to Main and Main LLC Spring Hill Suites to be operated at 4304 South Empire Place with a conditional use permit being approved in 2008. Item 15, transfer of the 2012 retail liquor license for Empire Restaurants Incorporated, the Encore at Empire Mall, 4200 West Empire Place, to include the Courtyard by Marriott, 4300 West Empire Place, as contiguous property, including Sunday sales. Item 16, transfer of the 2011-12 retail malt beverage license from D&J Management LLC, Dino's Grill, 1914 South Sycamore Avenue, to Thurston Incorporated, Botskis, to be operated at 1914 South Sycamore Avenue with a conditional use permit being approved on 02/01/12. Item 17, transfer of the 2012 retail wine license from D&J Management LLC, Dino's Grill, 1914 South Sycamore Avenue, to Thurston Incorporated, Botskis, to be operated at 1914 South Sycamore Avenue with a conditional use permit being approved on 02/01/12. Item 18, transfer of the 2011-12 retail malt beverage license from GPG Incorporated, Diamond Dan's Casino, 1002 South Minnesota Avenue, to HKV Gilbertson Liquor Incorporated, Power Keno Casino 1, to be operated at 1002 South Minnesota Avenue, including video lottery terminals, effective 03/30/12. Item 19, transfer of the 2011-12 retail malt beverage license from GPG Incorporated, Cash In Again, 3219 South Minnesota Avenue, to HKV Gilbertson Liquor Incorporated, Power Keno Casino 2, to be operated at 3219 South Minnesota Avenue, including video lottery terminals, effective 03/30/12. Item 20, special one-day malt beverage license for the Multicultural Center of Sioux Falls to be operated on the Upper West Side of Falls Park for the Festival of Cultures on June 16, 2012. Item 21, special one-day malt beverage license request for the Multicultural Center of Sioux Falls to be operated at the Coliseum, 515 North Main Avenue, for Roller Dolls performances to be held on April 14th and 28th, June 30th, August 4th, September 8th, October 13th, and November 10th, 2012. Item 22, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues Society to be operated at Yankton Trail Park, 3901 South Minnesota Avenue, for the Jazz Fest on July 26 through 28, 2012. Item 23, amend the date of the special one-day wine license request for Senior Citizen Services Incorporated to be held at Active Generations, 2300 West 46th Street, for the Cocktails and Canvas art class on March 27, 2012, changing the date of this event to April 10, 2012. Item 24, new 2011-12 retail malt beverage license for Fuji Sushi and Hibachi LLC, Fuji Sushi and Hibachi, to be operated at 2801 West 41st Street.
Thank you.
All right.
Lori?
Thank you, Denise. Lori Hugstead with the City Attorney's Office, representing items 11 through 24. I do have applicants here for the majority of these items if you have questions, or I can certainly answer questions on any of the items 11 through 24.
Are there any questions on items 11 through 24? Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to comment on these items? Is there a motion to approve these items? Councilor Anderson.
Chair, I'm going to have to ask to see if we can separate items 20 and 21. I'll have to excuse myself from those two items.
So could we have a motion
that
to
a motion?
approve?
Please, yeah, that is
I
a
would
motion.
second Councilor Anderson's motion.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Erpenbach, to approve items 11 through 19 and 22 through 24. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson,
Yes.
Intiman,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. The motion passes 7-0. We'll now take action on items 20 and 21.
Move to approve, Intiman.
Second, Erpenbach.
We have a motion to approve items 20 and 21 by Councilor Entenmann, second by Councilor Karski. Is there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Intiman,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes, that motion passes 6-0. We'll now go on to item 25. Thank you, Lori.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 501 to 519 South Minnesota Avenue from the RA2 Residential District and the C2 General Commercial District to the Sub-Area B of the Gigglebees Redevelopment Plan Development District, petition number 2012-0201, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
Good evening. I'm Mike Cooper, representing Planning and Building Services tonight. And I'm going to preface my remarks by letting everybody know that items 25 through 31, which are all first readings tonight, have been recommended for approval by the City Planning Commission at their last regular monthly meeting. Item 25 is a petition submitted by First Midwest Bank, and this is to modify the zoning on what's known as the Gigglebees block at the corner of 14th and Minnesota Avenue. Recently, the City Council approved zoning changes on the west side of that block for future multifamily residential. The Gigglebees building, which is at the southeast corner of this block, is proposed to be renovated by First Midwest Bank as a new office location. The northeast corner will be made available for future outlot, which could be commercial or office use in the future. One of the questions that has been raised in the past about this block is the off-street parking that's being provided. I know that came up when we considered the apartment building. And when we present this for second reading, we'll actually give you a site plan submitted by the bank that shows all of their proposed off-street parking, which will actually exceed the minimum required for the bank building. So that will open up the opportunity for some shared parking with the apartment building on the west side of the block. We don't have that exhibit in your packet tonight, but we will provide that to you and show it for the second reading. This is about 1.3 acres of land, and again, it's providing some zoning changes to allow the renovation of this existing building, which does not meet the current requirements for some of the existing zoning regulations, and that's one of the reasons why we're changing it to a planned development district. Any questions on that one?
Are there any questions regarding item 25? Councilor Jamison.
Mike, could you cover that again on the change to the planning district?
Under the current C2, there's setback requirements. The building is basically built at zero lot line. I mean, that was done back before the zoning ordinance was updated. It actually originally was a grocery store. So with the planned development district, it's going to allow us to work with the bank to modify that building for their use as a main office, which we're excited about doing.
Yeah, well, I think we all are.
Yeah.
Could you go to that picture again, Dave? That one there. So to me, it looks like there's some bump outs that are going to even come closer to Minnesota Avenue. Is that what you see as well?
That's
Yeah.
part of what they're working on, would be to have some bump outs or encroachments along the Minnesota Avenue frontage. And then along the 14th Street frontage, there'll also be some additional expansion to the south.
Can you go back to the old picture, if I could, of the Gigglebees?
There you go.
That'll be a very exciting project here to get this thing going. That's exciting.
It was interesting when we sat down with the bank that they took a pretty hard look at the structural integrity of the existing building, as well as what it would take to renovate it, and that's where they decided to, instead of clearing the site, to work with what's already there. And they've already started some of the demolition of the exterior, if you've been by there recently.
Are there any other questions for item number 25? Is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April 2nd, 2012 at 7 p.m.?
So move, Entenmann. Second, Rolfing.
We have a motion by Councilor Entenmann, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson,
Yes.
Entenmann,
Yes.
Erkenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes. The item passes 7-0. Item number 26.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 4101 West 12th Street from the River Run Planned Development District to the C2 General Commercial District, petition number 2012-0202, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This is a petition by Billion Motors, the current occupants of this property on the south side of West 12th Street, just west of the Big Sioux River. They've been operating an automotive sales and dealership there for a number of years. Because of the success of their business, they are now wanting to expand their parking and display area to the south and east. This zoning change would involve about 10 acres of land area that would allow them to expand their automotive dealership into those two directions. And again, the recommendation is to approve that expansion.
Are there any questions regarding item 26? Councilor Rolfing.
Thank you. Could you, Mike, could you go back to the overview, the big, yeah, there. Whereabouts is this going to be, yeah, draw it out, okay, it'll be there.
Yep.
Okay.
It's into an area that's kind of already been used for some parking.
Well, they're going to do both of those areas?
Yes, to the
Okay,
south and
both
to
of
the
them
east.
and to the east.
Correct. They're
Are
running out of room with their current hard surfacing.
Are there any other questions regarding item 26? Councilor Anderson.
Mike, on the east side there, what type of setbacks and protections do we have for our levee in that area there?
It's adjacent to what we call the River Greenway Overlay District, so there will be an additional setback. And I think if on one of the exhibits that Dave can bring up there, you can kind of see that right there. It will be a required setback in addition to the levee dike that's already there. So there will be a landscaped area that will be maintained there between their expansion and the River Greenway.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on item 26? If not, is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April
Madam Chair,
2nd?
Can I ask one question first,
Oh,
please?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Mike, this comes to me as you were talking about the Giggleby's lot being changed from commercial to a planned development district. Now, this one will be changed from a planned development district to commercial. Can you explain easily why we switch back and forth? It feels like we change those zoning designations depending on how we feel about the lot or whatever. Can you give us a logic for this?
We do. This particular, in the case of the Giggleby's, we're trying to allow an older non-conforming use to redevelop, so we're kind of creating a special zoning district just to do that. In the case of the River Run Planned Development, that was done a number of years ago when the idea was going to be more of a mixed use, residential, multifamily, some commercial. And so in this particular location, it makes more sense just to zone it to the traditional C2, which is what we would typically do anyway after the parking lot does get expanded. So it does seem like we go back and forth, but in the case of the previous one, it's more to retrofit an older redevelopment site.
Then, if I might, Madam Chair, could we just future just a little bit with that then? I've been involved with, and I think Dave is sitting back there, the zoning plans that we're doing, the rewriting of the zoning codes. Will that help us keep from switching back and forth
Yes.
so much? When we start looking at non-conforming older neighborhoods,
Yes.
we're going to work them in a little better, aren't we?
That's correct. That's one of the intents of the new zoning rewrite, yes.
Okay. The sooner that comes, the better.
It's a major undertaking.
Yeah,
but,
I know it. I know it. Thank you very much.
Because I know we get, on the one hand, people say, let's make it so it's more flexible, more adaptive, but as you'll hear later on, we also hear that, why are you being too or less restrictive than you should be? So,
No, absolutely. And we
Yep.
have to have rules. We have to have,
Yep.
planning. We've got to do it the right way, but let's, make it work in a lot of situations. So I appreciate it. Thank you for
You bet.
clarifying.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions on item number 26? If not, is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April 2nd, 2012 at 7 p.m.?
So move, Anderson.
Second, Entman.
We have a motion by Counselor Anderson with a second by Counselor Entman. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Entman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes, the motion passed 7-0. Item number 27.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1201 East 21st Street from the O Office District to the Sub-Area D of the Avera McKinnon Planned Development District, petition number 2012-0208, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
this is a petition submitted by Avera McKinnon, the current owner of this property, which is on the east side of Cliff Avenue, south side of 21st Street. In this case, the purpose of the zoning change is to provide for more uses rather than just office. Within this planned development, it would allow the property to be developed either as residential, office, or for medical uses, but also for community garden. And that's really the short-term intent, is to work with Avera McKinnon. They would like to establish a community garden site at this corner, including a structure that would be used for operation of the community garden. It would be basically maintained by Avera McKinnon, but it would be open to people within the community, much like our other community garden sites around the city. So under the current office zoning, the community garden option would not be there. And with Councilor Rolfing's task force working through regulations, what's being proposed would fit in with what's being recommended so far by the task force. Yes. So again, this is a zoning change to allow for the short-term use as the community garden site by Avera McKinnon.
Are there any questions regarding item 27? Counselor Anderson.
Can we go back to the photo that shows the neighborhood? Okay. One more in front of it then. No, I'm sorry, go the other direction. There. Mike, how much of that rest of that block does Avera own?
I'm not sure. We can find out before second reading.
Okay. Because, we've talked about spot zoning before. And, I thought we had basically come to a conclusion that we were only going to do full blocks and not sections like this.
I think what we talked about before was with the hospitals that, well, number one is that we did change our notification process, and that we did say that if they own 3 lots and then there's a lot next to the 3 that they don't own, then we shouldn't go ahead and rezone the whole thing without the other property owner's permission. I thought that was the discussion that we had in the past.
Have we had neighborhood meetings?
Yes.
And saying that, okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would definitely like to know how many more properties they own on that block.
Yep. I don't believe it's more than this, but we'll verify that for second reading.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions on item number 27? If not, is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April 2nd, 2012 at 7 o'clock p.m.?
So move Karski.
Second, Jameson.
We have a motion by Counselor Karski, a second by Counselor Jameson. Are there any further motions or comments? All those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erkenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. The motion passed 7-0. Item 28.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 3500 East Rice Street from the I-1 Light Industrial District and the RC Recreation Conservation District to the I-1 Light Industrial District and the RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2012-0211, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This is a petition submitted by Sweetman Construction Company, the current owner of this property. It's on the East Rice Street on the north side. They have been operating a facility in this area for quite some time. With the expansion plans for their cement plant operation, they are now desiring the ability to put in some storage silos in this particular area to store the material that they use for producing their material, which will include cement and fly ash. So what we've been working with them on is reconfiguring the industrial and the recreation conservation zoning districts that would, A, allow them to expand their operation, but would also protect the floodplain area, which is adjacent to this along the Big Sioux River. And the circles that are shown on here represent the proposed site for the storage silos. They use both truck and rail access to bring in and export material into this area.
Are there any questions regarding item 28? Counselor Anderson.
And Mike, you said this did go through zoning and planning? And this was approved by them also?
Yes, recommended for approval,
Okay,
correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on item number 28? If not, is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April 2nd, 2012 at 7 p.m.?
So move Intiman.
Second, Anderson.
Counselor Entman moves and Counselor Anderson seconds the motion. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erkenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. The motion passes 7-0. Item 29.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at northeast corner of South Minnesota Avenue and West 85th Street from the C4 Planned Commercial District, O Office District, RA1, RD, and RS2 residential districts, and the RC Recreation Conservation District to the C4 Planned Commercial District, O Office District, RA1 and RD residential districts, and the RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2012-0212, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This is a petition by Clint Ackerman with Signature Companies Incorporated. And this is a proposal to amend the zoning boundaries that were approved back in 2007 in this area, which is on the north side of 85th Street and the east side of South Minnesota Avenue. It's approximately 52 acres of land area in total. The zoning plan, which was approved back in 2007, the developer is now changed, proposed developer, and he is requesting a different concept for this particular area based on what he believes is the actual market for this area. Back in 2007, we showed, if we can put that zoning, we showed that the southwest corner would be primarily commercial, and then it would transition into office, townhomes, what we call RD residential or fourplexes, and then single family or twin homes to the north. On the east side, it shows the proposed alignment of South Dakota 100 which would extend through that area. And then to the east and south of that would be, again, the transition of multifamily office and then another commercial corner. The main proposed change with this new zoning concept would be to increase the within the middle of this area with more multifamily and more 4-unit townhomes. And then on the north side would be a transition into twin home residential. At the Planning Commission hearing, we had quite a bit of neighborhood testimony, and I know many, or if not all of you, have been contacted by neighbors that are concerned about this proposed zoning change. I think the primary concern is the transition from what's called the Grand Prairie development to the north, which is all single-family detached, into this area, which is now proposed to be twin home, and then 4-unit townhomes, as well as multifamily. Most of the testimony that we heard from the neighbors were concerned about going from single-family to twin home. The Planning Commission did recommend approval with one negative vote. So they believe that going from single-family to the north, which is Grand Prairie, to twin homes in this area is still a suitable transition that we have done in other areas of the city. So we know that at second reading there'll be public testimony about this proposed zoning, and that's probably the main issue that you'll hear from the neighborhood to the north, is the transition, that they would prefer to see it remain as just single-family detached. With the previous zoning plan, or what's currently zoned RS2 up in that area, it still would allow today for somebody to come in with a conditional use request for twin homes. So that option is there even today under the current zoning. So again, the Planning Commission in their recommendation believes that there is still a transition that's being provided from single family to a higher density residential. And I think that probably paraphrases what we expect to hear at second reading.
Are there any questions regarding item 29? Councilor Karski.
Yes, Mike, there's going to be a lot going on right here on this spot, I guess. I mean, moving boundaries of zoning and this type of thing.
Yes.
Can your office or the developer kind of contrast the before and after,
Sure.
what they're looking for? Because I'm hearing a lot of different things, and I guess I'd like to see what it currently is held side by side with
Yep.
what we're looking at.
What we'll do is we'll make an overlay that shows you today versus proposed and kind of lay it on top of each other. You can see how it would change. We can
Thank
do
you.
that.
Councilor Anderson.
Mike, between the twin homes and the property to the north, is there going to be some type of buffer or anything in there?
There'll
to
be
separate
it'll
those
be
two
a rear yard
developments?
against another rear yard.
Okay.
So the existing single family on the north, the backyards currently are adjacent to this proposed development. With the twin homes, they would face to the south, so their backyard would be against the existing backyards of the single family. But again, we can show that better on a proposed exhibit for you.
Councilor Rolfing.
Thank you. Mike, the barn that's sitting there, if we're looking at this, that would be in the northwest corner of this, right? That existing barn that's sitting there now?
Yes.
Right there?
Yes.
Okay. There are twin homes all along the east or west side, or they're proposed to be anyway, along the west side of that, right straight north of that, right? Right now, as I drove out there, there are twin homes that are all along the north side. If you go straight north of your circle, right where you're drawing there are proposed twin home sites there right now.
Yes.
That are buffering that from Minnesota Avenue. Secondly, I've heard rumors, let's put it that way, of a gas station going in. Would that be where that barn is?
The barn is currently zoned office, and with this proposed plan, it would remain office.
It would?
Yes.
Any place there to put a gas station
Would
on
be-
that proposed area?
Yeah.
Where would that go?
south of the barn.
Right
that
in there?
area that's being
Any
circled.
place in there, C4?
Yes, could be commercial.
Could be commercial,
And if
okay?
you go to what it is today, you
Okay.
can see that red area is
Red
existing
area
commercial.
or the red area on the southeast corner of it.
Yeah.
Secondly, thirdly, whatever it was, if I may,
Yes.
park. Supposedly there was some park area that was supposed to be in this area.
Yes,
That's where that was supposed to be, huh?
yes.
You like my wife moving things around on me so much here. You go. Okay, that triangle there, the green area is supposed to be, and the green area up on the left there too?
That's more of a drainage area.
Okay.
Yep.
But is that for the city park, or is that part of the development?
That's part of the development.
Development
That's
part.
proposed back then. If we look at what's being proposed today,
Okay, that 4.44 acres up in there is
it's still
supposed to
there.
be,
Still RC.
okay, recreation, okay.
But I believe that was primarily for drainage and detention, but we'll verify that. I don't believe it was proposed to be an actual neighborhood park.
More of a
Yes.
holding pond almost.
Yes.
That's for the,
Right.
okay.
So that's in the current plan, and it's in the
And
proposed
it's in the
plan.
the current and the original one.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Jamison.
Mike, what I picked up on from the enormous number of emails that I received on this, I'm sure we all did, I think they were all probably similar in nature, was in lieu of the conversation between the developer and the existing homeowners to the north there. Can you tell us any changes occurred, or is there another neighborhood meeting that's going to occur with these, with the new plans? Can you talk to us about the communication between the developer and the neighbors?
I'm not aware that there's another neighborhood meeting planned between now and second reading.
When was the last one?
It was before the Planning Commission public hearing.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Good evening, councilors. Dave Lublin with the Planning Office. I can answer some of that. He held the neighborhood meeting approximately 2 weeks, I believe, before the Planning Commission, which was on March 4th. And I believe their initial iteration of their proposed plan eliminated that office corner in the northwest part of this subdivision. They wanted commercial all the way up there. And then they were going to go with the RD, which would allow the fourplexes along the entire north boundary. After their conversation with the neighborhood that they had at that neighborhood meeting is where they came up with the changes that left the office in that corner and then left the RS2 up along that boundary.
Okay, that must be what I was hearing. I thought there was going to be another neighborhood meeting, though, from the developer. Is there anybody here from?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
believe so.
We could certainly go back and contact the developer, the applicant.
I can do that too, but I think the whole problem in this development occurred from the communication between the developer and the neighbors. The neighbors frankly probably don't want anybody to build there, and this happens all the time.
Right.
But I think this is the right step and the right method to get to the end of that corner of 85th and Minnesota, which should have been and always probably was planned for this kind of development. I think it's the natural progression. It's going to be painful for some, but it's the right way to do it. And but I was just hoping there, and I thought that there was going to be more communication between the developer and the neighbors, and I think that's going to occur on their behalf, but I didn't know that you didn't know about it.
There's some things I don't know.
That's amazing, though. I don't believe that. I think
There's a lot of things I don't know.
Are there any other questions regarding item 29? If not, is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April 2nd, 2012 at 7 p.m.?
So move, Anderson.
Second.
We have a motion by Counselor Anderson and a second by Counselor Entenmann. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. The motion passed 7-0. Item number 30.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at Southwestern Avenue and County Road 106 from the RS2 Residential District and the RC Recreation Conservation District to the RS2 Residential District and the RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2012-0210, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This is a petition by the Harrisburg School District to modify the zoning boundaries for their future middle school and elementary school sites. Last fall, the City Council approved annexation and rezoning of this property, which is along Southwestern Avenue, adjacent to West 95th Street. After the school district worked closer with their architect and engineer on the actual building placement and parking placement, they discovered that there was a need to modify the boundaries of the zoning slightly to provide for that, and so that's what we're doing now. Since that time, they have also agreed to sell the residential development portion of this property, and so tonight we're just looking at a slight modification of the zoning boundaries. And again, we can put a exhibit together that makes it easier for you to see what it is today versus what's being proposed.
Are there any questions for Director Cooper on item 30? If not, is there, Councilor Rolfing.
As I remember, we were having some trouble with that cul-de-sac down there.
What we had is the property owner to the north was looking at proposing to close off Quiet Oak Trail. After discussions with him, he withdrew that request. So he's actually the one that purchased the property from the school district as well. So Quiet Oak Trail is proposed to extend into this area.
Okay.
Can you highlight that street, Dave? Yeah, right through there.
So now he wanted to extend it all the way through though, didn't he? Or no, he wanted to do the cul-de-sac, which is happening.
No, the cul-de-sac was proposed to be right there.
Right there, okay.
Yep. So the cul-de-sac will not be constructed. The street will extend through for better access to the school.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Just.
Are there any other questions regarding item 30? If not, is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April 2nd, 2012, 7 p.m.?
So moved, Rolfing.
Second, Entenmann.
We have a motion by Councilor Rolfing, a second by Councilor Entenmann. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. The motion passes 7-0. Item number 31.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at east side of Ellis Road between 26th Street and 41st Street from the Roosevelt Park Plan Development District and the RD and RS2 residential districts to the RC Recreation Conservation District and the RS2 and RD residential districts, petition number 2012-01-16, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This is a petition submitted by Ronning Enterprises, the current owner and developer of this area, which is known as Roosevelt Park Edition. This is on the east side of Ellis Road between 26th Street and 41st Streets. In working with the developer and their consulting engineer, there's a need to adjust the boundaries of this area that is being done primarily to accommodate future stormwater detention. This is another one that's kind of confusing between what it is today and what it's going to be in the future. So again, we'll try to put together a better exhibit of showing you the difference between existing and proposed. But the primary intent of this is to better accommodate future stormwater detention and drainage requirements for this area.
Are there any questions regarding item 31? Councilor Karski.
Mike, was there any opposition, or how did the zoning?
There was no public opposition to this one.
Okay, and it went through zoning?
Yeah, with the recommendation for approval.
Full recommendation?
Yes. Okay. Unanimous.
Any other questions regarding item 31? If not, is there a motion to set a hearing date and second reading for Monday, April 2nd, 2012 at 7 p.m.?
So moved, Entenmann.
Erpenbach. Second, Erpenbach.
We have a motion by Counselor Entenmann, a second by Counselor Erpenbach. Is there any further comments or motions? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
Counselors Anderson?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. The motion passed 7-0. Item 32.
A resolution creating tax incremental district number 15, City of Sioux Falls.
Yeah, good evening, Council. I'm Brent O'Neill with the Community Development Department. I'm representing
Brent,
items.
could you just hold on?
May I recuse myself?
Yes.
I'll be representing items 32 and 33. They are related, and I have a single presentation for those, so we still need two actions, but if I could present them together, that would be great.
I believe that's fine with the council.
I just need to read it into record. Item 33, a resolution approving the project plan for tax incremental district number 15, City of Sioux Falls.
I'm here tonight to talk about a pretty exciting project that we're working on in the northwest quarter of our city. It's going to have a large impact, and we're looking at creating a tax increment financing district to bring this project together. The junior football field complex, the new one, is in this vicinity or in the TIF district, and a recent announcement occurred at the end of 2011 of the Sanford Pentagon, a basketball facility which is going to serve as the centerpiece of the TIF district and a larger development in this area. Real quick off this slide, just to orient you with where this district is, it's west of the airport, and you can see part of the runway there to the side. Benson Road would be on the south, 54th Street on the north, and then all the property in between. This project really is bringing together elements of tourism, economic development, and quality of life. It's going to have opportunities to bring people into town, to provide facilities for our citizens to use, as well as generate economic development opportunities both through tourism and locally. An important component of this project, or a series of projects, if you will, is that it brings together public-private partnership. It involves a city with the football fields, some nonprofit entities with tennis and hockey facilities. Sanford will have some sports facilities, including the Pentagon again, the Power Center, which is now being called the Field House. And another important part, and it's going to be important in the TIF district itself, is private commercial development that will come along with this development in its entirety. We have a real quick snapshot of what the conceptual idea of the district will look like. Again, in the middle, you can pull out the Pentagon pretty easily. To the lower right, the city football fields are already in place, so there is room for 3 more fields above those existing 9. At the very top, at the center, you'll see both the ice facility, and then right below that is the tennis facility. And then that lower left quadrant is really the area that you see the first part of commercial development, and will be the first phase of what we hope is a larger development in this area. That private development is going to include 1 or more restaurants, 1 or more hotels, and then another unique element is just the retail, entertainment, tourism, that draw that will support both the development, work with development, as well as be a draw on its own right. The next slide is just a little bit closer up view of that to help determine what some of those things are again. There's 2 elements related to the implementation of the tax increment financing district. On the left are just kind of some broad parameters of how the district's going to come together financially. To put all this development together on both private and public property, it's going to take $58 million is our estimate in construction costs to bring this project together. Of that, we will estimate that $28 million will be the value assigned to it as far as taxable property value goes. At that level, we're looking at about $570,000 in impact to the tax rolls per year once this is fully built out. During the tax increment financing period, which we're going to extend out 20 years from the date of approval, would be $9.6 million. In the right column, it kind of shows our listing of those items that we find eligible to use that tax increment. A lot of it is infrastructure related. It's an expansion of the football fields, new roads, sewer infrastructure, fill, grade, et cetera. And we do estimate about $10.3 million in eligible expenses for the TIF district. Again, it's a project we're really excited about. I want to emphasize that, there are the three key elements: the city, the private commercial development, and then the kind of the in-between, the Sanford, that's going to be a private development, but really serve both a private and public purpose. And this TIF district really helps bring all three of those together. With that, I could answer any questions, and we do have representatives from Sanford, as well as ICE and the Tennis Association.
Are there any questions, first of all, regarding item 32? Councilor Jameson.
Brent, the $570,000 in annual tax revenue, how much of that is for the city, and how much is for the county, and how much would be for the school?
I can look this up hopefully real quick, or at least try to estimate a breakdown. Obviously, the school district will be the largest part of that. They have the largest mill levy. I believe the city's portion is about 18 to 20% of that. The county would be slightly larger, and then the school district would be approximately that 50% range. But I would have to confirm the exact amount.
I'm sure, I'll speak for myself. I think the project is tremendous for our community. The thing that's missing is a letter of support from the county and a letter of support from the school district. The city's given this enormous responsibility to allow these TIFs to be created, and yet we do not participate in a discussion with those other bodies about it. And I see that as a problem. I think just even some basic diplomacy between the three of us should be in order before we do these in the future. I don't know if anything would probably stop this project at all, but just going forward, Brent, help us bridge that gap between those other two bodies, because it's an important development feature or development tool for our city, and I'd like to see them expanded and probably used. This is unique because it's out of the downtown area.
Right.
This is that first step that we're going to take. But I'd really like to do it with our other partners in this. I mean, the city's share is minor compared to the others.
Right.
So we're going to say go, 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 but we never really get input from those other bodies. So please help us get that input back.
Yeah. I could speak to that real quickly. We do provide notification to both the county and the school district. And on this one, I have spoken with the representative of the school district. And we also did speak with the county directly through a board meeting. We didn't really go back and forth, per se, on the actual terms of it. But we certainly have notified them and really asked for their blessing and offered to meet with them or give a presentation at any time, again, to bridge any gap that might exist.
I just want to share that I had a conversation with one of the county commissioners.
Your mic.
A certain auditor of the county.
Greg, your mic. Counselor, your mic.
Oh, is that better? Yeah. Can you hear me now? I did have a chance to talk to one county commissioner and a certain county auditor who used to sit over here, and I just feel like there's probably some room for improvement in that whole discussion. So even though you've talked to them, and they're not going to stop a project like this because they see the value of it.
Right.
It's not about that. It's more about just communicating better between us and working together for a great project like this. That's all, Brent.
Okay, we certainly will.
Councilor Rolfing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I couldn't agree with him more that I think it would be a great thing if we could get some communication and some sort of vote or whatever you want to get from both the school and the city. However, this is such a great project. I mean, this is going to bring a lot of money. This is going to bring a lot of people in from outside of Sioux Falls. It's going to bring an awful lot of things happening to Sioux Falls that have not been able to happen before. And this is money that they wouldn't have seen if it didn't happen, and without this kind of a financing happening, it just wouldn't have happened. So it's not money that they would have seen if it wouldn't have happened. So it's a good thing all the way around, because they'll see additional monies coming in because of sales tax, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's a win-win whichever way it goes, and we need to be good partners with them and let them know what's happening, and hopefully they will see the win on it. I'm sure they will. Okay. So that's what I wanted to say on that.
Thank you.
Councilor Erpenbach.
I guess I have to disagree with my colleagues in that we always have conversations with the city or with the county and the school district regarding this, and that they have an opportunity for input. If they had real concerns about this, there would be longer conversations about it, and I applaud the Community Development Department for going to the nth degree on this. My question for you, Brent, is, because we've talked about this in work sessions that haven't necessarily been televised, this is really one of our first sort of forays out into outside downtown when it comes to TIF districts. Do you want to talk about that a little bit and talk about why we think this is worthy of use for the tax increment finance, and how it compares then to those downtown projects we so often use it for?
Sure. One of the reasons the emphasis has been on the downtown or the core is the extraordinary cost of development that occurs downtown. Recently we have looked at our TIF guidelines and whether there's room to improve them for our city, whether there's projects outside the core that might or might not be worthy of a TIF district. In this particular case, this is the type of project that really can only occur with a TIF due to geographical constraints that really can't occur downtown. It has a huge economic impact to our city. I mean, a $60 million project. It's going to bring tourism people in, tourism dollars. It's really one of those things that ultimately is a win-win-win situation in our minds, and that's part of our recommendation of approval, is that this really is one of those projects that's so impactful that a TIF district makes sense to bring it all together.
Good, thank you.
Councilor Karski.
Trent, any idea what the city's investment will be into this area based on infrastructure, that type of thing? What we're going to be bringing to the table?
Well, one advantage in the TIF district is that the TIF itself is going to be putting together quite a bit of the infrastructure. And
what does that cost, do you know?
What's that?
Any idea what that cost is, roads, that type of thing?
From my notes here, we're looking at I'm going to say between 3 to 5 million, including some of the other infrastructure, sewer, et cetera.
Okay, so it's a fairly sizable investment on our part by the city to come together with private enterprise, Sanford, a not-for-profit in this case, community groups, ice sports, tennis, and the city. So we're really bringing 4 people to the table with this and benefiting our entire community. And representing the Northwest District, I see this as a positive for our entire community. And it is an investment by everybody, including eventually the school board and the county also benefit from this decision. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilor Anderson.
Could I have Community Director Darren Smith up, please? I have just a few things I'd like to comment and chime in with Councilperson Erfenbach on this. Darren, when we passed the quality of life bond, this area was also included in this.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give us a brief history of that and talk about the work that we did with the county on this as far as the grading of the property to the north where the county archives building's going to be?
Yeah, well, I would have to admit up front that a lot of the work that you're talking about was done in a period of time before I became in my current capacity, but after I left the city council. So it happened in probably a 3 to 4 year window when I wasn't around. Now, having said that, and Mike Cooper certainly could provide some history. In fact, he could probably provide more than me. But yes, those quality of life bonds, when they were passed, a significant portion or a portion of those were to develop the football field, the junior football fields that will become multi-purpose fields. I want to make sure I stress that, and I know Parks Director Kearney wants to make sure we stress that as well. So there was a lot of work that took place on site, grading and preparing those football fields. I know junior football as an organization was involved also in enhancing that area. So, when it's all said and done, what we'll have in this entire area is a multi-million dollar public-private partnership by the citizens of Sioux Falls, Sanford Health, and then those private entities, the restaurants, the hotels, and all those things that will take place in the next few years. So it's pretty exciting. And I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes. If I may continue. I think that this is a tremendous opportunity for the city. It shows what happens when the city, the county, the schools, as we were talking about event centers, this property came into play in that discussion also. So, as far as working with these other entities, I think we've done that quite well here. And it shows that what can happen when our government entities get together with nonprofits, and now we're giving opportunities to sporting activities that have not had those opportunities up to this point to expand and give our youth, adults, the opportunity to participate and make things a lot better in that corridor. That's a piece of property I have looked at since about '85 and wondered why we haven't done something over there. And I think this is an exciting opportunity to develop a corridor of Sioux Falls as people come in on I-29, that they'll see all the development in there and know that, we are doing things to, help our youth activities and grow as a city. So thank you.
Well, and I would just add to that, obviously this entire area is going to explode for a number of reasons, and we're very, very happy to be partners with Sanford Health. They do everything first class, and so we know this area is going to be a great area, and as a parent of young kids, and I know how much we're traveling to other locations for tournaments and those types of things, the economic impact that this will have for our city and region for decades to come is tremendous. When we go to these cities, whether it's Twin Cities or Omaha or wherever, we're not only staying in hotels and eating out and buying the pair of shorts or socks or shoes or whatever at the local sports store that we're forgotten at home. It's the spending money on a number of things in the community, and those even who are up here who will make their way to the mall, they'll make their way downtown. It's going to have a tremendous economic impact for the community, and these are the types of special projects that we believe rise to that level of being TIF-worthy outside of downtown. So I think they'll be very, very selective in nature going forward, but those special projects that we will bring for your consideration.
Thank you.
Councilor Jameson.
I think I might need to clarify for the rest of the council so that the objections don't continue. My comments were based on the fact that the TIF district was going to be designed without a whole lot of input from our other partners. The development of the area has always been a collaborative effort. I'm only referring to the TIF district. So.
Yeah, and if I may, Councilor Jameson, and I think this is what you're getting at, I would say, and I hope, if it makes everybody feel better, one of the very first things we do is always reach out to the school district and the county, because you're absolutely right. The truth is they frankly are impacted more than we are in terms of those percentages of property taxes. So I want you to know we do have communications with them. However, even when you feel something is good, it can always be better. And so we want to strive for that because we always want their support going forward when we bring these. We don't ever want to get to a point where we don't have their support and they don't feel included. So we'll strive to do that.
Madam Chair,
Councilor
I would move
Rolfing.
that we set a second.
Excuse me, we have to have public input. I have to see if there is anyone
this
from
is
the
the second
audience
reading.
that...
I'm sorry. This is the second reading. I'm sorry.
It's a resolution.
Right.
Are there any other questions on item 32? If not, is there anyone from the audience that wishes to comment on this item? Councilor Rolfing.
I would move approval
Second, Anderson.
of item 32.
We have a motion to approve item 32 made by Counselor Rolfing, seconded by Counselor Anderson. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Counselor Anderson?
Yes.
Intiman? Pardon me. Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would move approval of item 33.
Again, I have to have public
I thought you were
input
doing
on
the public
33.
input of them together. I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, that's all right. First of all, are there any questions regarding item 33? Any further questions on the topic? If not, is there anyone from the audience that wishes to comment on item 33? If not, Counselor Erpenbach.
Then I would love to move passage of item 33.
Second, Karski.
We have a motion by Counselor Erpenbach, a second by Counselor Karski to approve item 33. Are there any further motions or comments? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
Counselors Anderson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. Item 34.
A motion to appoint Lori Hogstead as city clerk pursuant to Section 2.08 of the Charter of the City of Sioux Falls, effective March 20th, 2012.
Counselor Karski.
Thank you. Over the last several weeks, Councilor Aguilar, Jane Hanstead with Human Resources, and myself spent a great deal of time actually reviewing over 150 applications and interviewing 7 candidates that were eligible for the position of city clerk. We interviewed several well-qualified individuals that met or exceeded our job requirements, and the decision to offer the job to Lori Hogstad was based on several factors, including her 20 years of experience in the city clerk's office, where she completed her training as a certified municipal clerk, her proven time management and organizational skills, her very strong people skills, and her experience in the licensing office for the city. Lori is very familiar with South Dakota codified law and Sioux Falls ordinances and has considerable experience with municipal elections. Lori also has extensive experience with working with council, both past and present, and has proven herself in public speaking and communicating with the media. When interviewed, Lori said that she would love the job, and we are confident in bringing her to you as our recommendation to City Clerk.
Thank you, Counselor. Are there any questions regarding item 34? If not, is there anyone from the audience that wishes to comment on this item? How about you, Lori? Would you come forward, please?
Thank you. Wow, that's going to be hard to follow. Lori Hogstad, and I'm just so excited for this opportunity to serve as city clerk. You know, the time that I spent in the clerk's office, the 20 years from '85 to 2005, were really the best years that I worked for the city. I loved what I did, absolutely loved what I did. And when I saw the new job description that came out, I thought, this is just perfect. This is what I used to do. I think I'll take my chances and apply, and here I am. I really want to build on the customer service skills that I've used all these years in my position with the assistant city clerk job, as well as the licensing specialist position. That has to be the best part of the job that I currently hold, is working with the public, whether it's taking phone calls or walk-in customers or emails or questions that they may call or ask about. I just love that part of the job. And I can see, as our city clerk's office team, we'll be able to work with the public in the same manner and just have a place where they feel comfortable coming to, that they can ask questions, or they can call us or send us an email, and maybe we'll just be that one contact with the city that they have and they don't know who else to call. I always invite people, even now in my job, just give me a call and I'll direct you to the right person if I'm not the person you need to speak to. So I would love to continue that. I really would look forward to continuing in my role of public service and serving the city staff, city directors who I work with on a regular basis, city council, and especially the citizens of Sioux Falls.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Lori? Councilor Anderson.
Lori, I'm sure that this is going to be a great time for you. One of the things that the former council and the city clerk's office championed was SIRE, which is a document processing.
Sure.
Could you give us your opinions on SIRE and how you may or may not work to get that completed?
Okay, well, I would, my first step once we get past the election, which is 3 weeks from tomorrow, is to really dig deep into the SIRE, learn a little bit more about it. My experience with SIRE is from a customer service standpoint, and I think the customer service portion of SIRE is great. I know we're working to expand the imaging system, and in fact, I met with an individual last week and some other city team members in working with our SIRE to put together information for the public that they could access a variety of items, including minutes, from past meetings that are not available now, resolutions, ordinances, that type of thing. So definitely I would take a look and make sure we have more public access. They could do their own searches, search for different documents, print out documents. So that's definitely one of my first goals, is to really dig deep into the SIRE program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Lori? Yeah, go ahead. Councilor Jameson.
I have a comment, if I could. Lori, the appointment of yourself to the council is the beginning of a transition. The council's been in a turmoil spot for quite some time with the removal of Deborah Owen. I'm excited about you coming here and helping us, and I think it'll actually be the beginning of some healing on the council. I think we need that. I think that'll be good for all of us. Plus, any chance we ever have to take a talented person from the administration, bring them over to the council, is just a good day. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to this item? Denise?
Is it too soon to ask for a raise?
Let's talk tomorrow.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Entenmann.
We have a motion by Councilor Karski, a second by Councilor Entenmann. Are there any further motions or comments?
I would suggest we have a motion instead of voice. Could we do it by standing in applause?
We still
Can't
have
do
to
that,
take-
huh?
No,
We
we can
can't
do it
do that.
afterwards.
Okay, we could do it afterwards.
All right. All
No
those in-
fun at all.
Are there any further comments or motions? If not, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson,
Yes.
Hintemann,
Yes.
Urbanbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes, the motion passed 7-0. Item 35.
A motion to amend the action of January 9, 2012, to set second reading of an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by revising Chapter 2, Administration, to change the day when council meetings are held and other council procedures, by changing the date of second reading from May 7, 2012 to April 2, 2012.
Councilor Urbanbach.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This, I see the crowd leaving. This is the most exciting part of the day. You'll recall that we had first reading on this ordinance several weeks back, and then voted to table it until May 7th. And what we'd like to do now, this is just a procedural movement at this point, is to move that from May 7th to April 2nd. And you'll remember that this basically changes our meeting nights from Monday night to Tuesday night. It doesn't change the timing of any of the meetings. It'd still be 4 o'clock informational, followed by committees, and followed by a 7 o'clock meeting like we always do on Monday nights, but it would be on Tuesday. Then you would see, if you look at the ordinance as it's written, it is presented on SIRE, so it's available online. It changes those meeting dates, but then it also changes several of the deadlines that we have for presenting items to go onto the agendas each week, and it will ease up some of the really tight deadlines that have been set by ordinance. It should make some of that a little bit more flexible for folks. You'll see also when we look at this at second reading on April 2nd that there will be a couple of amendments. One of them that I want to point out in particular would be Section 216 subsection A. Currently, the way the new ordinance is written, it takes out the opportunity for city council members to engage with in dialogue or discussion with folks who are presenting during public input time. And we've asked that that be amended out so that it would be the same as it is now. It is actually allowed in ordinance for council members to ask questions or to have dialogue with those folks who are input. This group has just chosen not to really do that very often, but so just know that that particular amendment that is in the ordinance now, or in the proposed ordinance now, will be one of those amendments that we would propose on April 2nd. So I'd just ask for your support. I would move approval of item 35. You still have to ask public input. All we're doing is moving it from second reading from May 7th to April 2nd.
Okay, are there any questions regarding item 35? Councilor Anderson.
Besides what you've mentioned, why are we moving this up before we have a new council seated?
The main reason is the contract issue. In doing the things that we did with taking back our rightful ownership of approval of those contracts, because the ordinance is written so tightly now, the agenda deadlines are so tight that there are times when it's almost impossible. And I commend city staff for this because they have made it work every week. But as we get more and more deeper and deeper into the construction season, those contracts get more and more difficult for them to make our deadlines. The deadlines are really difficult and really tight. By giving us one more business day before the council meets, it allows for wiggling in that agenda. It allows for things to come in at the last minute without it really being the last minute then. There still is that 24-hour notice in state law. We still will very easily meet that, but give city staff and ourselves some time to be flexible.
Any other questions on item 35? I do have. As I was preparing for the meeting, I'm wondering whether this does affect our joint meetings, right? Yes, no?
Yes, it would. We would have to.
But have we, going back to, have we talked to the counties?
Madam Chair, you
City
set
Attorney.
that meeting time according to a joint agreement between you two, and I think you would still have flexibility in terms of when you have a meeting with another governmental entity.
It is stated in ordinance, though, isn't it, when we meet with them?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I might, when we switched our time with Minnehaha County from 5 o'clock to 5:30, we just wrote them a letter, said, hey, is this okay? And they said, yeah.
That's true.
It wasn't an ordinance thing.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions on item 35? Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to comment on this item? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Erpenbach.
Second, Entenmann.
We have a motion by Councilor Erpenbach, a second by Councilor Entenmann. Are there any further motions or comments? Councilor Jameson.
It is just a little troubling that I suppose I was preaching earlier about communicating with the school district and the county, and here we are changing something and without even really, I guess we carry the ball here, and that's fine, and they'll do whatever we want probably. The counties will do whatever we need them to do, but it just doesn't seem like the best way to go about it.
If I might, Madam Chair, we are not voting on this at all. All we're doing is moving the second reading to April 2nd. We are not placing any, we're not making any action at this point except changing the date we talk about it. We
Well, I
certainly can have conversation with them and send them letters, and if they, whatever. But we aren't making any decisions tonight except to change the day we talk about it.
Right, but I guess if that's how you want to proceed, that's the exact wrong message we need to be sending them. I mean, I understand the timelines and the rush. I get that. I'm okay with that. It's just the message. Here we are. It's going to be put to a second reading, and it is as if we'll just go through the steps by calling them and saying, oh, and by the way, here's what we're doing. We will not have engaged them and said, we're thinking about doing this. Do you have any objections or problems? As I understand it. Maybe you have.
Counselor Urban.
Well, in the absence of staff that's been here for a while, we have had those conversations, I believe, in open meetings. We would have already passed this if we had not tabled it to May 7th. And so I would say certainly we're going to have those conversations with them. They don't, the counties don't have any control over when we meet. When we meet with them in joint meetings, we'll agree with them about. This is not about those meetings. This is about our meetings as a Sioux Falls City Council.
Well, just in the effort, if I could, in the effort of efficiency, certainly we would want to be meeting on a Monday because that's the only day that works for them, and then we have our meeting on Tuesday. I mean, I want to make it all work for everybody too, and I'm sure we'll be able to, but it just seems like we could have.
And Counselor, I'm not sure that interim city clerk Sue Rouse didn't contact them. I'm just,
well,
yeah. So I would also suggest that City Clerk Hogsted puts that on her to-do list as one of the first things. We do need to communicate, but we also could always meet with them on Monday nights if we had to until we could come to an agreement. I think that there has already been correspondence that came out from the Planning Department with both Lincoln County and Minnehaha County as far as looking at our meeting nights. And so this is just a continuation. But because of the contract issue, we felt that it was important that this be brought forward, if we could, at an earlier date rather than the May meeting. Councilor Entenmann.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this is actually a great move on our part. I think it accomplishes two things. It accomplishes what Councilor Erpenbach mentioned as far as facilitating our interaction with other city departments, but also, quite honestly, from a retailer and a small business person, this is actually a good move and might possibly help to encourage other people to run to the city, to run for the council. Mondays is a notorious day for those of us that are really involved in our businesses in the retail sector. We're catching up from the weekend. It's been extremely busy. There's a lot of issues that we have to deal with. I think this might actually provide an opportunity for more people to get involved in city government at a later date. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Councilor Anderson.
Yes, I do agree with you, Councilor Erpenbach, that we probably would have passed this before, but we delayed it for a reason. And after we had a work session, I guess I had no idea that this was going to come back up. You know, we just had a work session last week. So as Councilman Jameson has talked about, as far as a notification and, you know, making sure that these processes are known to the city council, you know, I don't think that happened in this process here, because this just comes up. You know, the leadership brought this back up, and there wasn't any emails to the rest of the council on this. I didn't get any emails on this. It was just put on the agenda. And I think that should have been brought back up to the full council, saying that you wanted to do this with the explanation before we got to this point. And that's something I'm just a little disappointed in, because we haven't delayed one contract since we took over viewing the contracts. So right now I just can't support this motion.
Madam Chair, if I could.
Councilor Urbanbach.
Fiscal Committee discussed this at length, and Fiscal Committee asked that this be brought back. It was one of the things that I did testify before Fiscal Committee a couple of weeks ago and suggested that in the concerns as they were looking at the contract ordinances, that the concerns that city staff brought to Fiscal Committee just 2 weeks ago, that this was one way that we could help solve that. We continue to maintain control of contract approval as we always, or as we have since October, but then we also loosen up those deadlines and make that agenda deadline more flexible, and we talked about it at length during Fiscal Committee just 2 weeks ago. I apologize that I didn't email to you that those were the things that happened in Fiscal Committee, but this is where that came from. That's where this came from.
Well, and then going right back to it again, we had a work session last week. If that was so important, that should have been on the work session's agenda or brought up in open discussion.
I apologize. I didn't realize that committee meetings had to be in work sessions.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Is there a motion? Okay. Is there anyone from the audience that wishes to comment on this item? If not, is there a motion to approve?
That was made by Councilor Urbanbach.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And seconded by Councilor Intiman.
I'm sorry. I lost that part of it. All right. If there's no further comments, all those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
No.
Councilors Intiman?
Yes.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. Motion passes 6-1. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn, Karski.
Second Intimate.
We have a motion by Councilor Karski to adjourn, a second by Councilor Entman. All those in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilors Anderson?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes. The meeting is adjourned.